Uh,
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for jumping on our webinar. I'm Eliza with Enact Solar, and I'm here with Alex and Danny as well. We'll do some introductions in just a couple minutes, give people a little bit more time to jump on the webinar. But thanks again for hopping on.
yeah, hey guys, I'm Danny with Enact. Just wanted to say hello. Yeah,
And I'm Alex. I think I'm having some camera issues right now, but we're gonna figure this out.
Perfect.
What is going on?
We'll just give it like one more minute, let a couple more people jump in. Awesome. Looks like we had some more people jump on, so we'll go ahead and get started. But I'm Eliza. I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm looking forward to this webinar. We're going to jump in today and go over how to simplify solar design using Enact's solar design software. We're also going to be using Fortress batteries, and Alex will be here from Fortress Power to chat a little bit more about that. Danny, if you could jump on over to the agenda, I can talk about what our webinar has in store today.
yep, let me get that pulled up.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned a little bit earlier, I have Danny Hernandez here, who does our sales for our installer software, and Alex Lepore with Fortress Power. So Danny will go ahead and go through a little bit about Enact and then jump into a demonstration of our software. And then Alex will go ahead and talk to you a little bit about Fortress Power and their batteries as well. Feel free, there's a Q&A box down at the bottom. So please feel free to jump in, add any questions down there. We can answer them as the session is going or at the end as well. We'll save some time to answer any questions that you may have. Um, we also aren't going to be sharing the recording of this webinar, so please stick around so we can, answer all those questions at the end of the webinar. But once again, thanks for joining. I'm going to pass it over to Danny, and we can go ahead and get started on a little bit of background on who Enact is and everything that we do here.
Well, thanks, Eliza. So, you know, we're in currently over 35 countries with our design software, and Enact does over 1.5 billion projects in proposals per year. And the tool is for both residential and commercial clients. Um, so installers would use our rapid solar design tool to help eliminate site visits, to help accuracy prior to contract signing, and also to get the best accurate proposal and design for that customer unique case. So once you've done the design, then you can push out that proposal, and you can customize these however you want. But our goal is to help you really build out your brand and kind of distinguish yourself through your messaging in your proposal. So try to build trust, increase sales, and just show your customer that you care about their installation and the health of the system all throughout their journey. You can also set up custom pricing for any market. And once you set the pricing up, it allows you to quickly just go straight to a proposal since you already have it ready to go. And this is the part where we'll customize those templates again. So really like to reiterate that we're really huge on that part. We want you to, again, build your presence and distinguish yourself from the competition, so you can compete locally. So with that said, I'll pivot over to our design tool. And today, since we are showcasing the Fortress Power batteries, I have mocked up some designs, some preset examples for today. But upon creating a project in Enact, the first thing you're going to want to do is scroll down and you'll already see a utility provided for you. You'll see a utility rate provided for you and the territory. You're just going to want to double check that customer's bills. So I've entered in 451 Tanuk Drive in Santa Clara. And the first thing I do is scroll down and make sure that these utilities and rates look to be the same as what I see on the customer's bill. And obviously you're going to want to enter the kilowatt hours that you see on the customer's bill as well, which you can do right here really seamlessly. So we'll assume that we just entered each month in here, save that bill. If you do have green button data, you could upload it as well. But forecasting their usage is going to be best through either a monthly kilowatt hour amount or a dollar per month amount. So 2 ways to do that there. And the third being the most accurate but more time consuming is that data, that green button data file that I just referred to, which would be uploaded right here. The last thing you can do here is select their hourly load profile. So this tries to replicate their usage patterns. So I work from home, so you can put whatever load profile is accurate for that consumer. So once we're ready there, we'll go kick off the design. But I wanted to show you that, first off, that in Enact, you can create multiple designs. And as you create more than one design, what you'll see is as you go into that project, they'll all be listed out for you as 3 separate quotes in this case. The reason behind doing it here for the presentation today is that we can look at very clearly with the down arrows what I have in each design underneath the hood of each design. So in the first one, we're looking at 25 Aptos Solar DNA 400 watt panels, one 7.6 Fortress Power inverter, and we do not have any storage on that project. What you'll see here is that your bill savings is set to 81%. And if we move on to the next example, all things equal, 25 panels, 400 watt in size, 7.6 Fortress Power inverter. But the difference here is that we do have one 5.4 battery attached. And in this scenario, you'll see that the bill savings has jumped up to 88.9%. Just about 89% of their bill is being tackled with this eFlex battery, compared to with there being no battery, we're only at an 81.1%. So pretty good significant savings that you can see from adding even that little 5.4 kilowatt hour battery. So that's made a huge impact for this project. It's made a huge impact for the satisfaction of this customer. We will be looking at the design more closely today. The last scenario, though, that we have mocked up is 25 panels, 400 watt, again, all else equal, 7.6 inverter. And the middle, this option we just looked at that provides at 88.9 was at 5.4 kilowatt hours of battery power. The last one is at 11.4 kilowatt hours of battery power. And remember, the last figure we saw on bill saving was 88. And with a bigger battery, you can see that we've jumped all the way up to a 94.2%. So this clearly replicates and displays the power of, you know, providing additional bill savings for customers, especially in California markets, but increasingly in other markets too, where you're seeing battery adoption becoming more and more popular. Um, Already huge in Texas and growing throughout the Midwest, already pretty big in the East Coast as well. So just wanted to quickly highlight that for everyone. And as Eliza said earlier, there is questions in the chat. Feel free to ask any in there. Before I hand it over to you, Alex, I'll show a couple more things from an actual design standpoint. Inside of the tool, we really wanted to start with showing you why batteries matter and why batteries are really shaping the future of the industry. But we also did want to display quickly some of the features that we have in Enact. It's a beautiful 3D design tool, very clean and simple to design on. And if I run shading, you can see, shade reports right here. You can download these shade reports. I'm seeing a 80.8% TSRF. You can download the report as well. I can move this design into a DXF file to bring into AutoCAD, potentially for a single line diagram. But what's really robust about Enact is not just the accuracy that you see here. You see all the heights and pitches that are created here, but it's also being able to simulate results inside of Enact and get really robust reporting behind what does this project actually do for my customer. So the one we're looking at here, again, using this really neat down arrow at the top right, this is the 400 watt 25 count panel 7.6, and this had the bigger battery at the 94%. But in the reportings, you can see grid independence percentages, import schedules. There's a distribution and an export schedule. So these are all additional insights that you can use for your customer. Here's a really nice 25-year, cost of doing nothing. So over 25 years, they're saving $308,000 in this scenario. And there's your average monthly bill saving. The final thing that you will do is move into pricing, use, and take advantage of these pricing profiles where you're basically setting up your bill of materials, how much you want to make in labor, and then lastly, really putting in any adders on top of your regular deal. But with building out these profiles, you should be 99% of the way there in terms of having a good proposal for another lead that's coming in, for example. So once I'm ready to publish this, I'll go over to publish proposal. And today I'll be using our go-to storage proposal to really, have that branding for battery and to use a template that's been constructed to display the power of what these batteries can do. So this is a cache proposal that we're loading up here, and it's going to include all of the products that we've modeled here today. So this is the template I haven't used in my database. You can see there's a little bit about Enact, one-stop solution, accurate and unbiased data. So this is where we'll build out your marketing and your message to your customers. We'll put reviews of your current customers to know that you are a solid installer to go with, and just really building up your brand in these ways through the proposal. and ultimately showing the payback to the customer, which is obviously the most critical thing. 107% offset, $445 saved each month. And then yeah, your bill offsets, your products will display. These are fully customizable again, so anything for you creative folks out there, anything that you can come up with, we can pretty much replicate in the proposal. So I'll stop there. And please do add any questions in the chat if you have any. So I'll pass it over to you, Alex, or Eliza.
Yeah, before we jump over to Alex, I thought this would tie in perfectly to what you were just talking about, Danny. The question in the chat is, are 3D views available in Mexico or just in selected cities? And I thought maybe you could touch on that.
Yeah, it will be primarily in the more metropolitan areas of Mexico, but there will be some good imagery available there as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Danny. We'll pass it over to you, Alex, to talk some more about Fortress Power.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Hey, everybody. Really stoked to be on the webinar today. I want to thank the Enact team for hosting little old me here. I have a lot to talk about and not a lot of time. I just want to speak to Enact's platform a little bit. I've worked with the Enact team for a few years now. And honestly, Danny, I love that flexibility aspect of you get that proposal. A lot of our contractors, they want to have several proposals to work with when talking with their customers, right? So I love that idea of, you could have something as basic as like a budget-friendly proposal to like all the bells and whistles proposals, right? And then obviously the kind of algorithm is going to spit out different scenarios based on those proposals, ultimately help the customer make the best and most informed decision for whatever goal or problem they're trying to solve for their home or business as it relates to energy. So would definitely recommend you guys check out Enact. If someone wanted to learn more about Enact, where would they go, Danny, Eliza? Is there like a website I'm sure you guys have, or where should they reach out to you guys at?
Absolutely. I can send our website in the chat, and then we can also, if you're interested in scheduling some one-on-one time with Danny, we can also send that information in the chat and then also via email after this webinar is over.
Awesome. If you guys get a one-on-one with Danny, I'm kind of jealous. Danny's a good guy to get a one-on-one with, very intelligent. So I will leave it at that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So today, my goal with you guys is give you a better understanding of who I am here at Fortress, what our company does, talk about some of actually the trends in battery storage, right? Batteries are not what they were 5 years ago. The technology of batteries have come a long way, and there are particular trends that I believe our contracting partners are going to want to know about as we come into next year. Right, whether that be things like rate hikes or more outages throughout the United States, it's really going to be really important for contractors and homeowners that like to really understand what are the trends in this technology and what are the trends in terms of the energy industry. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. And let me start from the slideshow. So a little about who Fortress Power is. I've been in business for over 7 years. I was the first employee that founded the business with the CEO, Jing Yu, based outside of Philadelphia. And since our inception, we've done over 35,000 installations on 4 different continents. We've racked up a very impressive and very experienced group of installer and distributor partners. And one of the key things on why Fortress Power has stayed around in these past 7 years has been our high quality. And we've run some statistics in the last couple months and then found that we had a 1% battery failure rate compared to the industry average of 4 to 6% or even 3 to 5%. We really stand by our product and stand by the high quality of our product because my mentor told me you can only fool people once, and when someone buys $20,000 or $30,000 for a battery, we want to make sure that the dang thing works, right? We do offer a lot of ancillary services in Fortress Power, not just providing a battery, but sales and service and other opportunities to help your customers capture additional revenue. And I will talk a little bit about VPP or virtual power plant programs in different areas of the country and how you can take advantage of them. So Fortress Power has all sorts of different products in residential and commercial, and installers have chosen Fortress Power because of our differentiated solutions that help them close more deals and get access to more projects. The solutions themselves are designed to save you time and money because of their form factor and their architecture. I talked a little bit about our failure rate and our quality. We have access to different financing, rebate, and energy broker revenue opportunities for you, the contractor, to help you sell more. And like I mentioned, that experience in government and utility projects really puts kind of that gold stamp or that gold seal on, hey, you're not working with a rookie in the battery space. Fortress Power has been around long enough, and that we can support your business. We do have technical support on both coasts, here in LA, where I'm calling out of, but also back in Pennsylvania, where we're headquartered, which is 7 days a week. 5-star tech support. That is not a sales gimmick. Go onto Google, look up Fortress Power, check out our reviews. We have 5 stars. It might be 4.8 to be fair, but who's perfect? Not me. So 7 days a week technical support, you guys, to help support your business. As you know, sometimes we got to clock in some hours over the weekend. So my goal here, Fortress Power Sales Director, give you guys, my contracting partners, installer partners, or a homeowner, not only more information on who we are and what we do, but the ability to take on more projects and make more profit, right? So with that said, I want to talk about some of the trends in battery storage. We've seen residential batteries come to market, commercial batteries. A lot of the battery technology is pretty similar, right? You're seeing LFP batteries, stackable batteries. Sizing wise, they're ranging typically anywhere from 5 to 10, maybe up to 20 kilowatt hours. One of the newest trends in energy or renewable energy industry is energy services, or as Fortress Power program calls it, energy broker, right? And so the goal with this is that we can actually interact with utilities and increase your customers' return on investment with these programs in the highlighted states that you see here on my screen. So if you're calling in from California, right, there's programs in California like the KISO Wholesale Market Program that's going to give your homeowners cash back for selling their excess power back to the wholesale markets. I'm going to introduce to you guys a very new, exciting program in Northern California. I'm going to tease you with that until I get to my next slide. In Utah, there's a program called WattSmart through Rocky Mountain Power, that utility. And in that program, they're giving a rebate for installing our NV inverter with our batteries. They're giving up a rebate for homeowners that can help reduce their upfront cost for solar and solar batteries. Back in the East Coast, there are several different programs. The Green Mountain Power Program, PSE&G. In Puerto Rico, there's Aluma. In Hawaii, there's HECO. There are several battery-based programs that, again, help reduce the cost for the end user, which help you as a contractor or installer partner of Fortress Power sell more systems. Now, if you're calling in as a homeowner, this should really pique your interest, right? This should have you be thinking, if I'm in a highlighted state, great, I can hit up Alex. He can give me some more details on some of these programs. But even if a state, Texas or Arizona, is not highlighted, I like to mention this because a trend that you will see in the next 5 years is that utilities are going to start creating these VPP programs, right? Because these VPP programs not only help with certain statewide goals for, let's say, being carbon neutral, but ultimately helps reduce their cost. Let me explain. So with VPP programs, they can leverage distributed resources like batteries to avoid ramping up, let's say, their coal or natural gas plants during peak times, similar to what happens in California. That ramping up of that power costs a lot of money, right, to fulfill a lot of demand during a short amount of time, let's say during the dinner hour. So utilities actually want solar and batteries because it not only improves this grid resiliency, but it also helps them curb their costs by shaving the peaks of the power that they would have to create by pulling from these distributed resources. So it's really one of those very rare 3-prong win-win-win scenarios where the homeowner wins because they're getting a reduced cost for an energy storage system that can back up their home, right, or reduce their costs. The utility wins by having distributed energy that they can rely on instead of just, let's say, fossil fuels, which are costly and kind of maybe outdated. Don't quote me on that. And then last but not least, certainly for you as a contractor or an installer, it gives you the ability to overcome price objections, give you the ability to sell a system that has a higher return on investment than just selling, let's say, a resiliency or a backup battery, right? So if you're in a state here, contact Fortress. I can tell you all about the different programs they're in on these states. But like I said, different states you will see in the next couple of months or next couple of years will start having VPP programs for those particular reasons. So keep your eyes peeled. Make sure that you're staying up to date with energy news. A lot of great resources out there. And you will see, I think, more states coming into that. So an example of a new program is the 3CE program, Central Coast Community Energy. And being in California, I'll talk about this one. This is a very interesting program that is stretching all the way from Santa Cruz County, let me hide this little hoozy here, from Santa Cruz County all the way down to Santa Barbara County. And it's serving over 1 million customers. And this is a very new program. And some of the details include as follows. So for solar retrofits, if you have an existing solar system, you can receive a $13,000, 13,000, three zeros, okay? $13,000 upfront incentive when they install a, let's say, up to a 26 kilowatt hour battery or more when they add storage to their home utilizing this program. For new solar and storage systems, they receive a $300 per kilowatt hour incentive up to $7,800, right? So when you utilize this with the ITC tax credit, along with other programs, let's say like SCHIP, the Self-Generation Incentive Program, we've run some analyses, and I could share this with you, on how it provides a 5-year return on investment. There are certainly other, in groups that are impacted by, fires. And if you're in a fire zone, if you're in a care via FARA or medical baseline customer, for those kind of customers, you can get up to that $13,000 number like you would in retrofits. But for most folks, you're looking at $7,800 though in a rebate from this program when you sign up. So some of the rules, there are rules, right? This is not the Wild West. There are rules to utilizing your battery. And you have to use it for self-consumption during a peak period. So you got to keep a certain amount of capacity during 4 to 9 p.m., which is 50%. You must have an internet connection. So if you're off the grid with no internet, maybe you get a Starlink, I don't know, but you must have an internet connection. But a caveat here is that the battery doesn't need to be charged by on-site PV. You can actually have the battery charged by the grid. So for those of you that are kind of thinking ahead like I do, you're thinking, wow, I could purchase from the grid when the power's low, right? I could then keep my capacity in the battery during these 4 to 9 periods. I can charge my battery back up in the morning when the sun comes out, cycle my battery to offset maybe my electrical costs throughout the day, and then repeat that process all over again. So that's how I'm coming to these numbers of this 5-year investment, because you can use lithium batteries now in a way that you can cycle them once a day and maybe even double cycle them once a day, just because of how far the technology has come, right? These are not lead acid batteries. We actually encourage you to use your battery, and using it in these sort of programs can give you huge financial incentives, a huge financial break when looking at your investment for solar and storage. So 3C is a very exciting one. If you want more information on these programs, go to fortresspower.com. I believe under the applications tab, you will see a little drop-down menu which has Energy Broker. And under Energy Broker, you're going to have 4 different categories for the programs we're a part of. Go in there and click. It has several more details. You can get started, get enrolled, and become a certified partner with us to take advantage of selling into these programs, right? Because if not you, then who? That rhymed. Another interesting change I wanted to just mention, at least in respect to the marketplace, or let's say consumers' applications, or the appetite for our consumers out there. I saw this really interesting statistic from Energy Sage. Energy Sage, for those of you that don't know, I cited this chart from their PDF or report here. They're a marketplace which helps homeowners find the right installer for their project. So what they took was this toll of homeowners, and you'll see here that for a self-supply application, right, which is just basically no net export, right, no exporting to the grid, or let's say any other application, let's say backup power, keeping the power for yourself, there was a tremendous amount of interest from the, let's say, second half of 2022 to the first half of 2023 in self-supply solutions. And the reason for this could be several different things, right? The rising cost of power. It could be, fear because of, there are more grid outages now than there ever were in the history of the US because of the increased frequency of storms. So I guess why I mentioned this is twofold. One, from Fortress Power, I have solutions that can fulfill self-supply applications through products that can offer load management, AC and DC coupling at the same time, having a generator integration that are scalable for 12240 or 12208 volt homes or businesses. Secondly, as an installer, if you're calling in here, right, you should be thinking about your sales processes, right? Thinking about your value that you're adding to your end users. If you're still stuck on selling backup systems, the reason that people are buying solar, it's still pretty high, don't get me wrong, but you'll see that 40% of consumers, or let's say 38% of consumers, are interested in this self-supply application. So maybe have a internal dialogue with yourself on, well, am I portraying the right values? Am I selling the right not only product for what the consumers are looking for, but am I communicating it the right way? Right. So that way we can avoid miscommunications and not overpromise and underdeliver, like we've seen so many times within our industry. Energy Sage has several other reports like this on consumer-based data that I highly encourage that whether you're a manufacturer or if you're a homeowner or even if you're certainly an installer, check that out. It'll glean a lot of very interesting insights on the changing energy landscape. So be aware of that. Know it, love it, be it, and it'll help you arm your business for 2025 in this crazy solar coaster that we're on. So with that said, that is all I had actually today when we look at trends. And what I'd recommend you guys do is head on over to Enact's website, head on over to Fortress Power. There are probably a plethora of resources between our two firms to help you and arm you with the resources that you need for your business in 2025. So that is my little spiel. And I know we have Q&A here now too. So I will leave it at that. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Alex. That was really insightful. And yes, please head on over to the link I put in the chat, and I can also send Fortress's website as well, just for information. But we'll hold on here for a couple minutes and wait. I know Danny's been answering a few questions in the Q&A box as the webinar has been going on. But if anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop them below. Let's see.
Where are the battery people at?
Danny, looks like I have a question for you here. Someone's wondering if Enact is a global company, and then where is the software? What geographical locations does the software work in?
Yeah, we are a global company. We have projects in even Dubai, some areas of the East Coast, definitely in California. But yeah, we're not only deploying the software pretty much globally, but also doing projects in different countries too.
Awesome. And another really great question is there a risk-free trial of the software? If we sign up today, can you get a full refund if you don't want to move forward after testing out the software?
Yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you all individually. I think me and Alex will both make sure to give everyone a call on this webinar that's here today. So we can definitely discuss, getting in on Enact, risk-free if you guys want to do that. So
awesome. Does anybody have any other questions before we go ahead and end off this webinar? It's like
This wasn't a question that was in the chat, but I like to mention it because it always comes up at some point or another. First, hey, Marissa, I see you're on here. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate you. The question I usually get is the chemistry of these batteries, and I think it's just important to mention because lithium iron phosphate is the gold standard for these batteries, right? So, when Danny is running his analyses, you'll see a lot of the batteries that he's sizing, including Fortress or LFP. And the reason for that is that LFP is still the tried true safest gold standard for chemistry for LFP batteries. I really just want to address that because, as an example, I'm just going to go off on a tangent here for a sec. I went to the bar, right? I'm having a beer. Danny's not there. I'm a little sad. The person next to me I'm talking to, and the first thing they mentioned when I mentioned about me being in battery business is, well, don't batteries catch on fire? And I'm like, all right, slam my beer. And I'm like, let's talk about this because LFP is the safest chemistry. This sort of technology is proven and can be installed in or around your home, right? It's why sizing is so important, and using a software like Enact can help properly size and design systems that will last the warranty coverage that the manufacturer has, right? So sizing goes a long way, right? You can only cut so many corners before things start happening that you don't want to happen, right? And the same thing when it comes to lithium batteries with sizing and designing. So I just want to emphasize that's kind of Enact's strength is not only all of what Danny went through from financial analysis, but also proper sizing and designing goes a long way, goes a really long way. So I just want to mention that. Tangent over. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
Yes,
Awesome.
if you are in the business for batteries, obviously you know exactly where to go. fortresspower.com. You can find out all the juicy information you're looking for installers.
Juicy information.
Yeah.
That's right. Like that, Danny. Juicy.
I'll also have Alex call you guys too. So
yeah, that.
Absolutely. We'll be in touch. And again, just one last thank you to Alex and Fortress Power for partnering with us on this webinar. And thank you to everyone for jumping on. We will absolutely be in touch. And again, feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.